hits one, then misses the second attempt from the free throw line.
As you said, the Spurs were the top seed coming into the playoffs and in the West, but they were pushed to the limit early by Dallas before cruising to the NBA Finals. And I can go back a number of years where the #1 seed has had a tough time in its first-round matchup only to get to the NBA Finals and in some cases win.
Spurs trail by 4. 1:31 left to play in the first quarter. Anderson with the block. And here we go with Kirilenko running it up the court. And it's Anderson that time on the assist by Kirilenko. And the Nets lead by 6. And for the Spurs in their run to yet another NBA title, they didn't seem to have any weakness in any facet of their game.
And you know, a little bit of that was overlooked, I thought, Kevin, heading into the final series against Miami, but certainly not afterward. One of the things that so impressed me was the depth, the quality of play that the Spurs got from everybody that Greg Popovich called on. And that really was the difference. They had 8, 9 guys playing at a high level, and Miami only had 1 or 2 guys most nights.
That's a great thought. And there's the basket. Whistle blows and a chance for a three-point play. Going to the line for 1.
An excellent display of passing out there, fellas. I mean, 8 of their last 10 points have been assisted on.
Well, they continue to find the open man and play unselfishly. This is true team basketball we're seeing.
Mirza Teletovic in his 3rd season out of Bosnia. You know, he once led the EuroLeague in scoring, and he loves to shoot. And when he gets the ball, don't expect to pass. This guy is letting it fly.
And Teletovic improving his shooting percentages last season.
I thought he really gained comfort in the NBA game, which wasn't a surprise, Kevin. Your second year, that's normally when that happens. Became an excellent stretch 4, 3-point shooting specialist. And, you know, ideally you put him with a really defensive-minded pivot man because he's not a great defender.
Now here's Brown. Quiet so far offensively, searching for his first points of the game. Brooklyn shooting their 3rd and 4th free throw attempts of the game.
Well, this is something they'd like to improve, guys. About 72% on their free throw percentage for the season.
And this year they haven't quite been able to maintain the free throw percentage they had last season.
No good on the free throw. And the second free throw, good. There's 21 seconds left in the first. Now Joseph, Diaw up top. He's whistled for the 5-second back to the basket violation. Here's Brown. From deep three-point range, he got it up in time, but it wouldn't fall for him. There's the buzzer, and not much scoring at all through the first quarter of play. Nets lead by 8. Live from the AT&T Center in San Antonio, you're watching 2K Sports.
Yes, sir. Let's do it. Yes, sir.
Tune in Tuesday, November 25th. Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors go up against Dwayne Wade and the Miami Heat, live from American Airlines Arena. Don't miss out.
Now the second quarter getting ready to start up. And looking at what we've seen so far from the Nets, what do you guys think?
A lot of hard work being put in on the glass. This is a very physical team. They're doing a nice job in the paint.
Yeah, and I think they're doing a good job gang rebounding too, Steve. Everybody's boxing out down there.
Spurs trail by 8. So for Brooklyn now, Andre Kirilenko is out there with Mirza Teletovic. Then there's Brown. Then there's Alan Anderson. And it's Plumlee in at the pivot spot, manning the middle. Joseph. The shot is off. And Brooklyn will come the other way. They're getting their first look of the season at San Antonio in this one.
You know, in terms of playing against somebody in the opposite conference, it doesn't get much better. In fact, it's too bad these clubs only play each other twice.
Steve's referring to last year's game moments ago about two beauties. In those two games last year, they led into a split decision, each team winning once.
You know, my guess is it's going to be hard to tell these teams apart. They're both still very, very potent.
And he sinks the second. Andre Kirilenko dealing with injury issues last season with Brooklyn. Back spasms cost him almost 2 full months to start the year. And then Steve, even in his return, he admitted he wasn't 100%.
Yeah, the calf was a problem most of the season. So a big reduction in his minutes and scoring, but still a valued contributor for the Nets.
Brooklyn leading by 9. Brown with it. Now Green defending. Brown the pass to Anderson. Back to Brown. Shot clock at 5. And Anderson kicks to Teletovic. 16 feet away. San Antonio with the rebound.
And for Kirilenko, I mean, he said he stopped paying attention to his stats last season. His focus was on doing the best he could to elevate the Nets in the win column. And they made a push late in the season.
Here's what San Antonio's going with right now. Baines is checked in, and it's Leonard in for Bellinelli. And a new group in for the Nets. Kevin Garnett, he's checked in for Plumlee. Johnson comes in for Mirza Teletovic. Bogdanovich, he's checked in for Alan Anderson. And Jared Jack is subbed in for Brown. Let's check out what Doris Burke has for us.
Well, last season, the Spurs made history, becoming the first team to finish a season with every player averaging under 30 minutes a game. Pop said, "We've been resting guys since I've been here. I think it extends their careers." Kevin, the league once fined the Spurs $250,000 for resting their stars. But the rings speak for themselves.
And surprising that more teams don't adopt that approach to us. Thank you. And the basket by Johnson.
And Kirilenko, a great value signing for the Nets. Owed $10 million in his contract with the Wolves. He opted out and signed a deal with the Nets for the mid-level, which is about a third that much. And it did raise some eyebrows.
The drive by Green. Shot is no good. And Brooklyn will come the other way. After this one, they're off to Philadelphia to take on the 76ers. That'll be the last game of their very short 3-game road trip.
A lot of fans focused on that Philadelphia matchup. Big game for them. How about that? Gets it off right in the face of the big fella. Quick release.
And operating on the perimeter like that negates some of the height disadvantage, too.
Now, here's Green. He's coming off a 10-point game against the Timberwolves in Minneapolis. Leonard attacking, and foul called as he misses. He'll go to the line and shoot 2.
Yeah, the defender draped all over him.
Pretty plain and simple. Got him good there.
And he's got his first free throw of the game.
Kawhi Leonard at the line for 2.
And he knocks down the first one. A different look now for San Antonio. Duncan comes in for Boris Diaw. And it's Ginobili in for Daniel Green. Leonard hits them both. Well, you talk about the financial commitment by the Brooklyn Nets. Last year's starting lineup was the highest paid in NBA history.
Well, to a man, they all made well over $10 million, Kevin. I mean, Joe Johnson was over $20 million, and boy, that's a lot of cheese to be coughing up to those guys, but it is what it is.
San Antonio calls timeout.
And for the around 26 non-luxury tax teams in the NBA, they might want to write up a nice thank you card to the Nets, considering that the Nets paid about $88 million in tax. That's the highest in league history. Good chunk of that change goes to those other teams.
Now here's Parker, averaging 16 points a game. He kicks to Duncan. Brooklyn with the rebound.
Such a solid performance for them inside. The rebounding has been terrific.
Yeah, that's just one of the few things that have gone their way today.
That's good.
But even as expensive as the Brooklyn roster has been, the Nets are still enjoying a huge boost in franchise value since moving to Brooklyn. 2 years ago, the team was valued at $357 million or thereabouts. I wonder where these valuation numbers come from. But anyway, last year that number was at $780 million. Well, that's not a bad return in just a couple of years. It almost sounds like play money.
And that one's good.
Sharp pass to give his teammate the high percentage shot in close.
Brooklyn leading by 12. And the first timeout called of the game for Brooklyn.
Brooklyn Nets going all in last season, a record $89 million in luxury tax payments on a mission to win a championship. Of course, it didn't happen, but the question is, where do they go from here?
Let's catch up with Doris from the sideline.
Hi, Kevin. I was able to hear the advice Lionel Hollins gave to his team during that last break. He's looking for some old-fashioned offense right now. He wants the pick and roll to be the centerpiece of their game plan at that end of the floor. Something else he mentioned is that he's giving them the green light on offense. He wants to see a high volume of shots. Maybe making those early adjustments will give them time to judge their effectiveness by halftime. We'll soon find out, Kevin.
And thank you for that, Doris.
And, you know, for the Nets, between their trades with the Hawks and the Celtics, they've actually traded away most of their draft picks through 2018. So, you know, what you see is pretty much what you're going to get with this group. And, guys, they continue to put a lot of pressure on the interior defenders with the way they work down low.
Well, it's become one of the stories of the first half, Clark, just piling up points in the paint.
Now here is Jack, averaging 12 points a game. Got a piece of it. Here's Kirilenko. Tim Duncan with the rebound. Duncan's got his third rebound on the night. And you remember the Nets owner guaranteed a title within 5 years. That's this postseason. Said if he failed, he'd punish himself by, Steve, getting married.
I'm sure his future wife appreciates that comment.
Yeah, really.
I don't know. Maybe he's a romantic at heart, Kevin. Or maybe not.
What a way to get your marriage started.
Yes. With a break in the action, let's show you the teams that have been making their opponents work especially hard over the past 10 games. Number 1, the Spurs.
Now, they've been solid defensively, maybe a little fortunate at times when teams have had off nights, but overall, pretty solid defense.
Nets leading by 12. Outside Jack. Over to the left wing. Garnett with a screen on Ginobili. Kirilenko into the lane. The timely screen gave him a step, and he took it all the way. Kirilenko's got the lead up to 14 now for the Nets. Parker outside. Leonard dishes to Duncan. Back to Leonard. And that one is hammered home.
Boy, oh boy, to be young again. My, oh my. You got me thinking back to my days.
Oh, yeah, right. It does make you nostalgic, doesn't it?
Yep, reminds me a lot of myself in my younger days too, guys. Oh, wait, maybe not.
Garnett, the screen. Here's Bogdanovich. And again, Brooklyn with the triple.
After having none in the first, he gets 2 3-point shots to go here.
Spurs trail by 15. Parker outside. He feeds it to Ginobili. Back to Parker. 6 to shoot. Ginobili outside. The Spurs need to get a shot off here. That is good. And it's 9 points for Leonard.
What a great little run he's on here in the quarter.
Nets leading by 12.